Hey, what's up, y'all? Welcome to episode 205 of This is the G Podcast. Yes. There you go. I'm Tommy B. And each week we do news, politics, pop culture, that piping hot tea from the one and only Tonya B. Talib is out this week, man. So Hitman, Howie, and Vi are joining me to discuss the hot news topics. And among the topics, we'll talk about the 10-year-old arrested in Mississippi for urinating outside. And an NBA player indefinitely suspended for acting like a 10-year-old. But we'll get to that. Tonya B has your tea. And what you're watching this week, we're moving past that. We're not going to do that this week to allow the extended conversation between myself, Vi, and Howie. So we'll be back next week, our final taping next week with the last What You Watching, okay? All right, with that reminder, let's go ahead and get into news with Syracuse Mike. Mike, what you got, man?
News team, assemble!
It's time for the Week in News with Syracuse Mike.
The FDA has approved a promising treatment for sickle cell disease, which affects more than 100,000 mostly black Americans. The approval marks the first of two possible breakthroughs for the inherited condition. The treatments work by genetically modifying stem cells. Until now, the only known cure for sickle cell disease was a bone marrow transplant from a donor. But it's hard to find a matching donor, and that treatment includes the risk of rejection by the patient's immune system. Special Counsel Jack Smith is asking the U.S. Supreme Court to make an expedited decision on whether former President Trump can be criminally prosecuted on federal charges over his efforts to overturn the results of the 2020 presidential election. The unusual move is an attempt by prosecutors to bypass Trump's recent appeal to the D.C. Circuit. Prosecutors are concerned that going through the appeals process, which could take quite some time, could delay the March 2024 trial date. The former president has maintained that he is immune from the criminal charges because they are a result of official acts he took while he was president to ensure the integrity of the election. Claudine Gay will remain as president of Harvard University. Members of the board, known as the Harvard Corporation, deliberated into the night on Monday before deciding not to remove Dr. Gay, the university's first black president. In a statement, the board said, as members of the Harvard Corporation, we today reaffirm our support for President Gay's continued leadership of Harvard University. They were critical of how she handled questions last week. Dr. Gay, along with presidents from two other universities, came under fire for comments at a congressional hearing where they did not strongly condemn anti-Semitism. One of the university presidents has resigned. House Republicans voted to open an official impeachment inquiry into President Biden. For months, Republicans have alleged the president financially benefited from his family's foreign business dealings, despite the fact that they haven't publicly released any evidence backing up the claims. All Republicans voted yes to make the investigation official. Republican James Comer is the Oversight Committee chair.
Very pleased with the vote today. I think that sent a message loud and clear to the White House. We expect you to comply with our information requests and our subpoenas.
An inquiry is not the same as voting for impeachment, but it gives investigators more legal standing. Now that Republicans have formalized their inquiry, efforts will grow to force Hunter Biden to appear behind closed doors. They're also vowing to hold the president's son in contempt of Congress if he continues to resist the subpoena. He's already said he would only appear publicly, and while in Washington Wednesday, told reporters,
"There's no evidence to support the allegations that my father was financially involved in my business because it did not happen."
The Supreme Court this week agreed to hear an appeal brought by a man charged in connection to the January 6th assault on the U.S. Capitol. That case could have a major impact on the case against former President Trump. Joseph Fisher is seeking to dismiss a charge, accusing him of obstructing an official proceeding. Arguments have been made that the law actually concerns some action with respect to a document, record, or other object. In lower courts, defendants have said the law has been applied too broadly. The court's decision could determine if the charge applies to defendants in this matter, including Trump. Until they rule, the judge has put the January 6th case concerning Trump on pause. We now know actor Andre Braugher's cause of death. According to his publicist, it was lung cancer. Braugher actually quit smoking years ago. The Emmy-winning actor is best known for his roles on the TV series Homicide, Life on the Street, and Brooklyn Nine-Nine. Braugher died Monday. He was 61. The jury has ordered Rudy Giuliani, Donald Trump's former lawyer, to pay $148 million in damages to Ruby Freeman and her daughter, Shay Moss. They are former Georgia election workers. Giuliani was found guilty of falsely accusing them of election fraud.
Hey, appreciate it, Mike, man. Thanks for the headlines. Talib is out this week on some personal matters, man. And I can't believe it. He is back, y'all. The country commentator. Y'all give it up for the one and only Vi is back in the business. Like, is he standing on business, y'all?
Standing on business. Standing on business.
Vi is back standing on business, and he hasn't been with us for a minute, but he has joined us before.
It has been a minute.
It has been a minute. And the one and only, y'all, give it up for the one and only Hitman Howie. Back in the building. Came in at work, do hard work. You can see the sweat on his brow as he works diligently. Appreciate you, man. Appreciate you for coming in. And shout out to Talib, man. Appreciate you, Talib. We'll get back next week and do the last show of the year is next week. So last live show. So we'll be back next week as well. Just a couple of things, and I'll be brief because I do want to get to some of the topics Mike didn't get a chance to cover. But it's good to hear we have a promising sickle cell treatment in the works. I guess that's mRNA where it changes or alters DNA in order to be effective. So hopefully that's effective for everyone. Major disease has always impacted the African-American community.
Yes, it has.
So I definitely hope that works out. On another note, Jack Smith is being savvy in his prosecution role by directly going to the Supreme Court. And I think you got to do it. If not, this will be a 6-year case.
Exactly.
And shut him down.
Let him
know
we'll see. Yeah, let him know just because he can be president, you still gonna get prosecuted if you win.
Yeah. So absolutely. I mean, you hit it on the head. Did we not have this conversation when he was in office? That when he's out of office, he's subject to prosecution.
Exactly.
So it just shows you, the cunning. I don't even want to call him a fox that he is. That his attorneys are cunning.
Yeah.
So we'll see how that works out. Apparently, they're talking about potentially going to the Supreme Court in February.
Right. Mm-hmm. Exactly.
So February 2024.
They are accelerating it. We're not going to wait till this election.
No, we shouldn't.
Because that's all he wants you to do. Anyway. He wants to wait till the election to see if he wins. Mm-hmm. Okay, now I can stop all this mess.
Exactly.
Yeah. You agree, Howie? You agree?
Yeah, I agree. I think he's trying to just do what he always does.
Delay.
Delay.
Mm-hmm.
And then he's back in office and he shuts it all down. And it's just a problem. If it was you or I, we would already be, listening to the verdict and doing what we have to. We're going to jail or paying our fee or whatever we're going to do. Somehow he's able to extend this thing. But he's been out. He's paid a lot of money out.
Yeah.
We have paid a lot of money out.
You're right. But let me say this. The donors have paid a lot of money.
Yeah, the donors. Exactly. I have not paid not 1 cent.
Right. That's true. Yeah. That is exactly right. But yeah, he's just delaying it. So I'm glad Jack Smith is doing his thing to get to the Supreme Court to kind of get over this hurdle of delay in the process.
Yep, I agree. A couple more things, and then we'll get to some of our hot topics we want to discuss. Man, Claudine Gay at Harvard, glad that she'll continue to stay as president until they find something else. That's the way. So for now, she's staying in, and she's, I guess they're moving on. The impeachment inquiry is a waste of money. The insurrectionists are just being insurrectionists.
They're stupid.
Yeah.
They have no evidence. No evidence. And then why you want to do this, man? Why you want to question him in private and not in public? He said, let's do it in public. No, we won't do it in public. Why?
Yeah. That's you're referring to Hunter. Yeah. Hunter doesn't want to do it.
And I wouldn't know. You're gonna question me. You're gonna question me in front of the world.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't get that. I don't understand why they don't want to make Hunter Biden's deposition public. I couldn't get that.
Their lies gonna come out.
Yeah.
They can't change. See, right now they can control the narrative.
Right.
They can say they can actually say how he answered the question, what he said. But if everybody see it, they can't change the narrative.
That's true. That is exactly right.
Hey, Howie, let me give you the academic or my academic answer to that, because they don't want to hear the world ask. They don't want to let the world hear them ask that silly shit. That's my my intelligent response to all that.
Yeah.
Okay?
Why would you show naked picture of Hunter Biden? What they got to do with anything?
Yeah.
But let me. Can I say this, y'all? Can I say this about Hunter Biden? He's a bad dude. Okay, he's a bad dude. No, I'm just saying it from a standpoint of whatever he gets. You know, sometimes all your kids, they just don't turn out the way you want them to turn out. So let's move on.
He was a drug addict. He done illegal things. Yeah. Okay, we all know that. My thing is, you going out. Why are you trying to bring his dad down to that level? Okay, everybody got kids. We know once they get grown, they're gonna do what they want to do.
Yeah. I mean, history has shown. So my point is, at this point, let's just give him his fine. If he's got to do time,
exactly.
Move on. That has nothing to do with the presidency right now. Let's move on. Okay.
Yeah, I agree.
And regardless of anything, he's in office already, and he's almost done it. So what y'all still doing?
Yeah.
Isn't it good to have Vi back beating a dead horse? Because he,
Hey, I'm overdue.
He's just raring to beat this dead horse.
I apologize, people.
No, it's all right. We miss you beating a dead horse. I beat that dead horse too. So it depends. Actor Andre Braugher, man, rest in power. One of my favorite actors, actors. I don't think people give him enough due for his role in Glory. If you remember the Civil War movie, Glory.
He was that his role.
Yeah, I think that was his first big role. He played Thomas, the friend of what's his name, the general or the colonel in the movie. And rest in power, man. He did some amazing movies, and man, gone too soon. 61. They determined that it was
cancer.
What is it? Cancer. Lung cancer.
Exactly.
And let's go on and hit the first thing that I want to talk to you guys about in depth. Rudy Giuliani, 148 million. I'm gonna start with you, Howie, since you hadn't been on here in a while, man. Are they gonna get this money from Rudy, man?
That's the first question I was asking myself. Are they gonna really get the money? I don't think so. I know they said his house is up, or his condo or whatever in New York, 6.5 million is up for sale. But man, these ladies probably number 9 or 10 on the payment chart, aren't they? He got to pay a whole. I mean, his lawyers are suing him. I think Dominion's got a lawsuit out against him. A few other people. So I don't know. I hope. What I ultimately hope is that, he just go away, file bankruptcy. Maybe they get 10, 15 cents on a dollar, whatever, but just get something and have Giuliani go away. He's just bad. He's just bad for what we're trying to do, as a country. He got hooked himself up with Trump. It seemed like everybody hooked their wagon to Trump. It seemed like they're falling off left and right. He seems to be still standing, but all these other people, his law license is being challenged in D.C. He's already suspended in New York, so he can't really make any money. I think he's doing a podcast or radio show where he's reining in like $400K a year or something. But man, just tax him and let him go away,
Yeah, I'm with you on that. What about you, Vi?
No, they're not gonna get a cent. Just like the family sued OJ, they ain't got nothing yet either. They're not gonna get anything.
Oh yeah, the Goldmans didn't get anything. Have they gotten anything?
They haven't. Not in the millions they thought they were gonna get.
Well, they didn't get the millions, but because they couldn't touch his pension, so everything else they were able to sell at an auction.
Evidently, wasn't that much.
They got pennies on the dollar just the same. But yeah, they ain't gonna get.
And you can't get blood from Barack. He ain't got no money.
Yeah.
Unless he got hidden in the Cayman Islands over there.
Well, yeah, and at least you can say with OJ had memorabilia. Okay. Right. With Rudy, what you got? The flag from maybe the flag from 9/11 in New York.
Yeah, that's been tarnished. We don't even care about that no more. Yeah, his claim to fame, but he's done such a horrible job with his reputation.
Yeah, that's
He
all.
didn't care about that anymore. This ain't banging that anymore. He said, what? Bump that. He's dirt now. He's garbage.
Yeah.
I mean, America's mayor. How far he's fallen.
How can he fall so far like that, though? America's mayor?
Hey, man, hook your wagon up to a bad seed, man. It happens.
That's going to tell you his true color. He was just a dirt bag who went in office. He had a good publicist who ran a good publicist. Hey, you do this, it work out for you. You look great. He was a.
Hey, let me say this. Let me say this though, Vi. You're right, because if people who lived in New York and were you in New York, Howie? You were north, but
I lived in Chicago for a while.
You lived in Chicago,
years.
okay.
Yeah.
But people who were in New York during the Rudy time, they knew Rudy was trash. Yeah, they knew. Yeah, they knew. I mean, everybody on the outside who watched the 9/11 brigade that he created, or the facade, they knew Rudy was trash. So eventually it came out again. Now he's really trash. All right, so no, I agree with y'all. But I do think, and I heard the mother at the press conference, and she says, in a lot of cases it's really not about the money.
Yeah.
I think they'll get some money, definitely. They'll get more than they would have gotten, or considering the circumstances. But I think the other thing is it proves, if anything, that they're right, and they're proven in a court of law.
Okay, but we knew that already.
Vindication.
We knew it, but it is vindication. I agree. It is even more vindication.
But why isn't it damaging Trump? He was defending Trump. Why is he still?
You answer that. What do you think?
Yeah,
Mr. Teflon.
Yeah. Well,
How?
The wheel of justice grinds slow, but it grinds fine. It's gonna get to him. It's gonna get to him. I think all this
sure hope
stuff
so, man.
It's kind of building up to get there. I think
all the stuff he's done to this country, and he don't pay for anything he done to this country.
Let me say this. Can I say this? Yeah. And I've said this, and a lot of people get pissed off at me when I say this, but we've had 4 years to deal with this. And here's the old thing: when all that waiting ended in 2020, you remember this? When we had to wait, for the final results, and and he didn't want to concede. We went through all that. We went to the polls in record numbers, and we did all that. And in my opinion, the Democratic Party dragged their feet. There were some things I felt they should have done day one.
Right.
But instead, I understand. Well, I don't understand Biden's push for reconciliation and togetherness and kumbaya. Dude, keep in mind how long it took people to get over, the Republican Party to get over Nixon. It took many more years. So he wasn't going to reconcile anything within the first year. In my opinion, I think a lot of this should have started a lot earlier. And so what they get now out of this, and the concerns that the country has, it's self-inflicted. And the reason I say it's self-inflicted is because we had, I would have came out, man, day one, I would have been, okay, what do we need to do to put this guy in jail? Yeah. Instead of saying, hey, let's not do anything. Let's wait because people are on edge. Let's try to, no, these people don't want to come back together. They just tried to kill. They just tried to kill you. They just tried to, stormed the Capitol. They don't want to.
And then on top of that, we got people saying it didn't happen.
Right. That's my point.
Yeah.
We saw it on TV. It didn't happen. I'm going, what the hell did we say here?
Howie, I'm gonna give you the last word.
I think collectively we did a poor job. You're exactly right. And then the issue with some people, we know that they're gonna do what they're gonna do. The people who attack their Capitol, those type of people, we know them. I'm always concerned about the silent people because their silence speak volume, man. If you're not pushing back on dictator type speaking or people who think as dictators and you're not saying anything, then you're advocating for them. And that's where we have the issue. Those are the people I'm mostly concerned about. You and I, we're going to yell because we're going to yell. The people who are going to attack the Capitol, they're going to attack. We know who they are. But the other 75% of the people who are not saying anything, that's the problem.
Yeah, I agree. All right, let's move on. 10-year-old, and I hope I say the city right, Senatobia, Mississippi, relieved himself at his mom's car while she's inside doing some work with an attorney or I guess talking to an attorney. He's arrested, charged, placed on probation for 3 months, then forced to write an essay on Kobe Bryant. I'm going to start with you, Vi, since I started with Howard last time. I got my thoughts, but what are your thoughts?
Do I have to be PG or can I be PG?
No, you don't have to.
That's some bullshit. That's some bullshit.
When did we become PG?
He's just a 10-year-old.
Yes.
Not a grown man.
Right.
Yeah.
He's not being a pervert. He was a 10-year-old that needed to use the bathroom and there was no public facility around or a parent to take him anywhere. He is a 10-year-old.
Yeah.
What they should have been, once the mama came, explained to the mama what happened, and that should have been the end of it.
Yeah,
That's
I
it.
agree.
That's it.
Well, that's what I'm saying. I mean, I think, I've had many reasons to just close the state of Mississippi. Okay, just to call it, just to secede it from the union. Just not a voluntary secession, but just say no, we don't want you anymore.
We don't want you.
We don't want you anymore. And this is like one of my arguments against just saying goodbye, Mississippi. But what concerns me even more. Where are the civil rights organizations in this? Why hasn't somebody come out with a bolder statement?
It's not big enough.
Saying it is big enough. It's a
to
national.
You and I, to a normal human being and a parent, it is, but not to them. Because they look at it this way: no politics involved. It doesn't increase their image. They get nothing out of it besides doing the right thing.
But Vi, let me say this: it's an international story. Yeah. Who's to say if something, and I look at this as trivial to a certain extent, who's to say what they would have done if this was someone older, maybe with a mental disability? Who's to say what would have been done to someone older, maybe with a mental disability, left in the car? Who's to say what they would have done?
This
was a child.
He'll still be in jail.
He'll still be in jail. I mean, so my point is, I think regardless of the political implications or the profile, and let's say this is a high profile situation, we're talking about it. Mm-hmm. CNN did a full story on it as we taped today on their week in review Saturday morning, and it they covered it for about 10 minutes.
10 minutes. That's it though.
But that's a lot for a national news network. That's a lot.
I get it, but it's too late for them to get into it now.
Okay, go ahead.
They should have got into it a while back, but right now they don't see any way. They got into it now and be like a black mark on it because people be saying, "What took y'all so long?"
Yeah, I would say it. Go ahead.
If they don't get in it, it's going to go away. After we get to talking about it, it's probably
I think that's what Thomas is saying. Why didn't they say something initially? But more than that is these are the type of things that our NAACPs or those type of organizations need to get involved in, because those are the grassroots. That's why we're so disconnected. They're losing their power because they don't get involved unless it's something really high or something really big, or some major cause. But how do you grow your program? How do you grow your organization? Is by getting involved from the very grassroots and building up. So you're hitting every level of the population, man.
Well, let me say, and you're right, because here's the deal. The NAACP is a national organization. I'm not just blaming the NAACP. I'm pointing at any organization who says that they represent the rights of individuals. This could have been, even if we're looking at, ADL or in any organization, human rights organization.
Right.
Because this, in my opinion, it goes beyond, even though I know it's a racial issue based on what they're saying, based on what the attorney's saying for the family, this is a human rights. This is a right. This is a 10-year-old.
Exactly.
So my point is, it's never too late to stand up for what's right.
Exactly.
Right. I agree with you.
The
And that's
police
what
officer
the
should take him inside and
NCAA.
wash his hands, and that's it.
That's for like the NCAA, how it's like our national government. We need new blood. You just got people in there who just want power.
But Vi, I think that's the point. If you're not doing stuff at the grassroots level, how are you going to energize that new blood?
And I'm agreeing with you. We need new blood. We need young folks, the 20s, the early 30s, to get more involved into it. And we old folks need to ingratiate them, give them the power, and vote for them. Say it's your turn. But instead, I'm pretty sure we got the old folks holding on tight. No, I'm not ready to move out yet.
Well, yeah, that's true. But I think they need people our age to kind of bridge that gap. I think
we old folks.
No, we're not quite.
I know.
Old folks.
That's you.
Hey, you ain't got to claim it.
No, think about it. Think about it. The people we might consider old would be the Andy Youngs of the world. Yeah, I think it's our age group, maybe this early 50s to right where we are, right here in this early 60s, to bridge that gap, because we have to give them some wisdom. We don't want a whole lot of we don't want everything that young folks have. We definitely don't want to lose some of the stuff that the old folks have, but I think it's our age group that needs to bridge that gap.
I think when you talk, it's going to have to be a compromise on that. Yeah. Do the young folk are willing to listen, and are we willing to have a limit of how much we are?
I agree. I think
we can't have it always either. We got to let them usher in some of their ways. Exactly. It just can't be all the way in the highway.
Right. Well, let me say this. Yeah, let me say this, and we'll move on to the next subject. For time's sake, let me say this, man. The reason I mention these organizations is because the organizations are local as well. Exactly. The reason I look at that type of organization is because they're branches. They're, even if there's not a branch in that particular city, there's a branch close enough. Even if it's Jackson, Mississippi, right, or there are enough branches of that organization to say, look, we're not going to stand for this, and that's where you're watching, like I recently watched Rustin on Netflix. Yes,
that movie blew my mind. It blew my mind.
Yeah, but my point is, you have to show some level of activism, because if you don't, it'll just continue to happen.
Exactly.
So as long as nothing is said after the fact, or somebody says, look, we're not going to spend money with you guys anymore. As a matter of fact, because you're not going to get it out of the governor, Tate Reeves. You're not going to get it out of him, because he's an enabler. He always has been, and he continues to be. Mm-hmm. But for the black people, I mean, this city's 50%, or I think at least 50% black. It's almost 50-50. Yeah, and for nothing to be done, and it's small. I mean, we're talking about 8,000. But for that to happen, and the elders within that city not to step up and say, hey, you know what? This happened. Yeah, it's after the fact, but here's what we're going to do going forward.
Right. That's what happened. I agree, Thomas. And I just said, even a collective of ministers in that church, they have black churches in the community. Just something has to be said. So I agree with you. I agree.
Yeah, I agree with you on that.
All right, let's move on. And Vi, I'm going to have to, y'all going to have to tie Vi up on the next one. I know. I know. I just know it's coming. So, Howard, whatever you can do to help him.
Right.
Not from getting Tourette's syndrome going through this. No harm to my folks who have Tourette's. But Draymond Green and Howie and I have been going back and forth all week. So I'm gonna say this. I mean, let me just go through the facts. Okay, he was suspended indefinitely by the NBA, and it's agreed upon by the Players Association that he's suspended. And for which I thought was, and let me just say this as a former basketball player, and I played most of my life, even going into college, on a lower level in college, but still playing the game that's officiated. It was not a basketball move. Okay, let me say that for what he did. A few months ago, he attempted to choke out Rudy Gobert, Timberwolves, and it was a choke out. It was not a I'm gonna grab you by your arm. Look, he almost did. You could see his face. Let me say this: you could see his face start to almost. I mean, I'm not saying he was going down, but I'm just saying he didn't know what was going on. The other thing is this.
He deserved an Oscar.
Let me finish, Vi. Let me finish. All right. In the first round of the playoffs last season, he was made to sit out a game. after he stomped on the chest of Sabonis. That was in April 2023. In March of 2023, he was suspended for 1 game for getting his 16th technical foul of the season. Okay. In November 18th, this was the prior year, he was suspended 1 game for a confrontation with Kevin Durant. People forget this. And in June 16th, he was suspended 1 game for kicking LeBron James damn near in the balls. He kicked him in the groin. Okay. So, I gotta say this, and I have not included all the other confrontations. There are dozens of them. Not to mention the fact that he punched Jordan Poole unconscious at a team practice, like a sucker punch, and he recently signed the 4-year, $100 million extension. Golden State has the highest payroll in the NBA. It's a record payroll, but they're currently near or close to the bottom. Curry seems to be the only player playing up to potential. So let me say this, and and Howie, I may have been a little extreme when I talked about a ban, but I will say that I applaud the move to say indefinitely, and here's why. To say this is indefinite, because I truly believe that Draymond Green has a problem that extends beyond anything that he can manage individually or that the game can manage. I don't know if you've ever seen the movie Fear Strikes Out. Anthony Perkins, he played the baseball player Jimmy Pearsall. This movie was back in the 60s. Basically, Pearsall was one of the first athletes to be or high-profile athletes to be diagnosed as bipolar, with bipolar disorder. And if you haven't watched the movie, it's a good watch, and I've seen it several times. And I would say that a lot of the behavior he exhibits is just like Pearsall. I mean, from attacking his own players or the team with bats. It was just he was erratic. People would say, "Oh, he's a good guy. He's a nice guy. He's cool. You could talk to him," but he would just be triggered by certain things. And I just think I think the issues Draymond has are not within his control. So I do believe that putting him on an indefinite suspension and the league saying, you don't return until you've got control of this. Now, control might mean different things, but I don't think I think it's under doctor supervision. I think it's going to be under counseling, a counselor supervision, because, and I'm going to say this last thing and I'll throw it to you, Howie, because you and I have had the conversation more. As somebody who grew up around people with that exhibited that, I know exactly, because they are the sweetest people in the world, the greatest people, until something triggers and you don't even know the person. You don't even, who is that? Right. And the reason I say that is because Steph Curry finally came out and made a statement, as did Kerr. And one of the things Steph Curry said, he said, the guy you see choking out Gobert, the guy you see, not just choking out Gobert, but the guy you see or you saw the other night, and he mentioned all these incidents, that's not the guy I know. Go ahead, I'll throw it to you.
Yeah, Draymond, the reason I push back on the bipolar thing, and I like I said before, I'm not challenging you.
And let me say this, Howard. I don't want to say he is.
Right.
But I will say he exhibits.
Right. Yeah.
Certain things.
The reason I push back a little bit is because he don't seem to exhibit those things off the court.
But see, off the court is not a trigger. Well, go ahead.
Maybe off the court's not a trigger. Maybe it is something on the court that's a trigger. This is my issue, I think, with Draymond. And you play basketball all through high school. I attempted to play basketball all through high school, but I moved from basketball playing to refereeing. Mm-hmm. And I have been able to, and I'm able to understand that if you're not refereeing, especially down in the post, the bigger guys, if you're not refereeing them correctly, they start to retaliate. And I think what Draymond Green did in that situation, now I'm not talking about Gobert or anything else, but in that situation, and you could see if you look at it, the referee's right there, but he's not refereeing his area. He's looking out to the right for the ball. But if he referees his area, he gets that push or that hold before Draymond Greens start to flailing around. That being said, I think something has to be done for the league. I think the league has gone away from that type of antics, from hard fouls, because they want to make the game a little bit more pure, a little bit more wide open. So anything to prevent that, they're going to have to tax the person for. And I think in this case, they're going to tax him. I'm hearing maybe he'll come back at the 1st of January, so it'll be like a 9-game suspension or something like that. But whatever it is, I'm okay with. But you have to get these guys to referee a little bit tighter. That way, remember when Shaq we talked about this, Shaq used to be getting killed down there, and they didn't blow the whistle until Shaq started to retaliate.
But let me say, and I'm going to say this, I think it goes beyond, though, Howie, the technical side of it, because we're talking about, okay, an elbow, an aggressive elbow, or it's different from a what do you call it? Flailing of the arm, a 360 flail, or a choke out, you know, or a punch. I think those are different from the enforcer type elbows, or, you know, you see people with the high elbow, you know what I mean? That's because you can easily say, well, I'm blocking out. Right. You know, but you can't, let me say this. Kevin Durant said in the recent press conference this week, and a few other players said this, and this is what also got my attention. They said they had never seen anything like that on the basketball court when they saw him flail the 360. They said that's something I've really never witnessed anything like that. There were players who said that. You know, as a basketball move. Let me go to you, Vi, and I'll come back. But go ahead, Vi. Thoughts?
Well, I think the NBA did the right thing. I mean, Draymond's, they got his attention. For some reason, he thought he was untouchable, and he didn't think he was doing anything wrong. Well, now they got his attention. They need to do something, because what they were doing was not working. I mean, because I don't think that another thing, some of the problem actually really would have got hurt. So right now he hasn't hurt anybody right now. I mean, he has damaged somebody. He has not really physically hurt anybody who need to have a hospital care, but it needs to be done, because Golden State wasn't doing anything. And like Howie was saying, the referee wasn't doing anything. Nobody was doing anything. They were getting away with it until somebody actually got hurt. Then they call a foul. That's too late. This should have been, they probably should have done an indefinite suspension when Rudy, what the guy named
Rudy Gobert,
fake the choke.
Yeah, when they choked him out.
Fake getting choked. Should have done something then.
But let me say this. Vi, you hit it on the head, and Howard, you've alluded to it. My concern is not that he's doing it. My concern is for the safety of the other players. Right. And the reason I bring this up is I was watching the game with Kermit Washington and Rudy Tomjanovich. I don't know if you remember this game.
Oh, yeah, I remember.
Okay. And it was a shocker.
Oh, yeah.
Because it was just so immediate. I mean, here's Rudy. Rudy T is not even in the fight. You know what I mean? And he just happened to be running down the court, and Kermit swings, misses, and almost breaks every bone in Rudy T's face. Did he not end his career pretty much?
He did.
He much had to reset his old face almost.
Yeah, he did. See, my concern is not necessarily about the one-on-one action, because eventually Draymond just going to get his ass kicked. Oh, he going to hit the wrong person, and it's just going to be somebody who says, oh, hell no. You know, not somebody from, you know, and this is not intended to berate any of our folks from other countries, but they have a different mindset. But he's going to hit somebody. He ain't going to hit the ghetto brother who's like, look, you hit me, you touch me. Right. It's on. But not a nice guy like LeBron or what's his name, who I think is a more public relations type player. He's going to hit the wrong player, and it's just going to go down. But let me say this, one more thing. I'll throw it to you, Vi. But I will say my concern is the other players.
Mm-hmm.
But also my concern is allowing him to get away with this sets a standard to where maybe somebody else out there has a similar mindset who says, oh, hell, if he's getting away with it, I'm going to do the same thing. And one last thing, and I'll close, and I'll throw it to you, Vi. I'll let you go ahead, and then I'll get to you, Howard. The other thing is, and who said this? I think, what's his name said this back? Big Perk. Big Perk said, dude, you're messing up your legacy. You think about Rasheed Wallace. What's the first thing you think about when you hear the name Rasheed Wallace?
Other than the big belt is all the fighting he did, right?
All the fighting.
Technicals, right?
You don't think about Tex. You think about you don't think about how good a defensive player Rasheed Wallace was.
He was a bad everything player. Offense and
yes, but nobody's talking about it.
Exactly. You're right.
They look at him they look at the fact that he's at the top of he's the player with the most technical, most suspensions in history.
Not no more.
They don't look at and hey, Draymond's got some time.
Yeah,
he still got time. So
point taken about that.
But my point is, and I think even Charles Barkley said it. He said, "Dude, you're killing your legacy." He said, and plus, Draymond's got a podcast. He wants to be a broadcaster. Ain't nobody going. I mean, you're ruining your legacy. You're ruining your after basketball,
your post basketball career,
your post basketball career. I mean, ain't nobody going to ask you to come to the YMCA to speak to the kids. Hey, it's Draymond Green. He choked out every.
No, that's the wrong guy. That's come talk to everybody.
No, I can dig that.
Hey, who's he gonna go to? Who are they gonna send him to talk to?
Right. Yeah, I can dig that. I'm hoping
WWE. Go ahead.
I'm hoping that real quick before you throw it to Vi. I'm hoping that something that the Golden State Warriors is doing. I know Kerr is a player's coach, but I hope their organization is doing something.
Man, he's scared of Draymond.
But you know what? That's a problem. Look, let me tell you.
Problem.
When you hey, Vi, he is losing almost close to $257,000.
They say if Overcoming the Game City is suspended, he can lose like $6 million.
Yeah,
in a million if he don't come back soon.
That's a lot of money.
That is. Where does the money go?
Like about $150,000, $125,000 per game.
NBA charities or something?
What'd you say, Howie?
Where does the money go? NBA charities?
I don't know, but it's gone out of his pocket.
Well, I'm gonna say this.
Let me say this, man. People don't realize that these NBA players have a lifestyle. You know what I'm saying? That ain't gonna hurt him. Wait, how do you know? You don't know how much the house is he lives in.
They have a lifestyle.
You don't know the payroll. You don't. You know what I'm saying? You don't know what's going. You don't know what's going out.
Right.
Okay. Did you have something else, Howie? Now go to.
No, I'm good. Fine. Go ahead, Vi.
Well, I think you're right about Draymond. Like I said, something need to be done. But if I heard the wrong person, that wasn't gonna happen. Draymond knows who to hit and who not to hit.
You're right. You are. Hey, let me say this to that point. If you look at most of the players he's hit, they've either been of foreign descent, like Sabonis, or was it Nukic? Was the guy recently?
Yeah, I can't think of his name. I know I can't pronounce his name either.
Or nobody. Karen Gobert is an international player.
Ain't gonna put on me down again. I say, okay, we're gonna do this.
Yeah, what's his name? Hey, what's his name? Steven Adams. He did something that he kicked Steven Adams.
He is hitting it needs to be done. But he wasn't hit the wrong person. No, not Draymond. He's that's what I said. That's why it's calculated.
Do you think? Hey,
it's calculated.
No, Vi.
Listen, one more thing. And he never apologized. He get on TV in his podcast saying, "I'm not apologizing."
Yeah.
He even laughed about this. He said, "I watched the film." I said, "Damn, dude, really?" You said "damn" because all your other players were saying "damn." So now you still submitting indefinitely. He said, "Oh shit, indefinitely."
Yeah,
that's like.
Let me say this.
And I need a writing thing, Dre.
Yeah.
The count getting kind of low.
Yeah, and he's got a child. He just had a child. Let me say this, Vi, and we'll wrap it. And I'll go to Howie and we'll end this because I got to ask y'all the most important question. Now, right now, I will say that he has set himself up going forward to be walking on eggshells for the rest of his career.
Yeah,
that's what he's, and nobody wants to play like that.
He can't play like that.
He can't make any more mistakes.
Yeah,
okay, Howie, you get the last word because Vi's got about 20 last words.
No, I agree with what you guys say. You know, overall, something needs to be done. He needs to realize where he is, what his legacy is like, and he needs to make some changes. I agree with that. Absolutely.
Yeah. Okay. All right. Moving on, man. Finally, the dogs aren't in it. Georgia Bulldogs did not have the opportunity to three-peat in the Natty this year. It is what it is.
Yeah.
I mean, you know, I'm not saying I told you so, but my concern in the beginning was, and you know, with the injuries especially, kind of exacerbated everything toward the end. The team needed a year. Now, I think next year they'll be in the hunt again. But this year was that kind of year where it's difficult to do a three-peat in college, especially now you got the portal. It's difficult. Come on, Vi, come on. But anyway, I will say, let me finish. Who do you think will win the championship this year? You got Alabama, you got Michigan, you got Washington, you got Texas. Now, don't sit here, Vi, and spend 10 more minutes on being the Bulldogs apologist. Just
get the team man on you. I apologize for anything.
Who do you think's gonna win, Vi? Who do you think's gonna win?
Alabama.
Okay. Why do you say Alabama?
For one thing, I think Alabama got the best team out of all of them. And ESPN won Alabama.
You think so?
Yeah. They've been talking about Alabama going to win the thing since the season started. What happened to started? Oh, Nick Saban mad now. Really? They've been talking about this since the season started. So it's going to be Alabama. And my thing, the one reason I said, the one thing happened to Georgia I thought was not going to happen. Well, two things. I didn't think they were going to stop the offense. And I did not think Alabama quarterback was going to be good enough to beat Georgia. Both of those happened. He was good enough to beat Georgia. And Alabama, the offense did not produce the way they did. The defense did their job. The offense didn't. So along with that quarterback, I don't think Michigan got enough. Nobody got enough to stop the Alabama quarterback. He's not going to be a 200-yard passer, 300-yard passing. But if they don't sack him and they give him time to throw that ball and the run, they're going to lose because you're not going to score a whole lot of points in that defense. And if you can't score a whole lot of points, if you can't score at least 30 points, you are not going to beat Alabama. You're not going to.
You're taking up all the time, Vi, so I can't get to Howard.
I need it. But I'm sorry.
You needed to vet that. Go ahead, Howie.
Well, yeah, I don't. You know, to be absolutely honest, I don't know. But I think what Michigan's going to. I think it's going to be between Michigan and Alabama. And I think what Michigan's going to do in this playoff game is take the air out of the ball and not give Miro the opportunity to beat him. Because I think that's who can beat him is that Alabama quarterback. But if you don't give him the ball, if you run the ball, time off the clock, that's how Michigan's going to win it. If Michigan beat Alabama, Michigan's going to win it all.
And this is ball control.
Yeah, just ball control. And, you know, just don't give them an opportunity. Just think about it, you know. You know, if Alabama's trying to score the last 4 minutes of every quarter, last 3 minutes of every quarter, because Michigan's run the ball the whole time and took the clock down, that's going to be a problem, you know. So I think that's where it lies. But do you think Alabama can beat Texas, though? If Texas and Alabama
Texas do not want to play Alabama right now. One thing about Alabama, I said that to me, you're not going to beat him twice in one season.
Yeah, that's true.
Let me say, I think I disagree with you, Vi, on what ESPN wants. I think the national people want anybody but an SEC team
not
to
ESPN.
Win this year. Let me say this. I think they want, because for keep in mind, for them, it's revenue and it's ratings. Mm-hmm. And they want people, I think people outside, because we live in Georgia, y'all. We live in the Southeast. People outside of the Southeast are getting tired of SEC teams in the finals. And now they'll go to 12 games, 12 teams next season. But I will say, I think the national media want someone other than a Southeastern Conference team.
Get better.
They may be revere Saban for all he's done. They may speak kindly and say how dominant he is, but ultimately they want Michigan to win.
They don't.
They want that story of Harbaugh.
Nobody wants Michigan.
But let me say, no, but you live in Georgia. I'm just saying to you that they want the states, especially the Northeast. I mean, you ain't gonna get another NCAA natty winner out of New York. I don't see. No, that's not gonna happen. But you will get a Midwestern, potentially, out of well, not Chicago, but you're talking Michigan.
Ohio State.
You're talking Penn State. What do you call the Blue Bloods? Those teams, those legendary programs, or God forbid if Notre Dame ever wins again. It's like, oh my God.
Right.
But they want. Let me tell you, they want to go back to even a USC or some of the legendary, but they're tired. I think they're tired. Even though Alabama used to win back in the day too, but not the SEC has never been. I mean, it's been dominant. It's been dominant. I think it's too much sameness and people get bored. I think people just it's another SEC team. Here we go.
Well, I'm gonna say this. Okay. It's gonna get worse.
Last word.
My thing, you don't want that, but then you got a 12-team tournament, or at least
you're right.
4 or 5 of your team gonna be in the SEC.
Exactly.
What that mean?
That's what I was thinking. Also, it might become more difficult for SEC's team not to participate with Texas coming in, and who's the other team coming? Oklahoma.
Texas, Oklahoma join the SEC.
Yeah, it may be more difficult to keep them out when you expand to 12 teams. I agree.
And the reason why I said they want Michigan to win, because they scared the NCAA gonna find out what Michigan really. Because Michigan's still under investigation.
Yeah,
for what they did.
True.
They're not out the water yet.
But I do believe, and that's just my opinion. If you disagree, definitely go ahead to castropolis.net. Howie never goes to castropolis.net, but he will text me. Hit the people poll, leave a message, and I'll play back the best. Just go there. But I'm just saying, I think ultimately, if you don't live in the South, if you don't live in the Southeast, you're like, damn, another Southeastern, conference team.
That's all I can say.
I agree, Vibe, but you in Columbus.
What do you think about Washington's chance? What do you think about Washington's chance?
No.
I'd be shocked if Washington took it all.
In Washington,
I'd be shocked.
I don't think the defense is good enough because they don't have no defense.
Think they can beat Texas? No.
That's going to be a good game.
Yeah.
I don't think Michigan is the best team, but I think this is going to be a situation where the national folks might get what they want. And I'm just going to say it like that.
Who's better than Michigan? You think who's better than Michigan?
Bama.
I do think I agree. I think Bama is better. But see, here's the thing, and I'm gonna end this because we're going long. And we won't be doing what you're watching this week. But I will say this. I think Bama's problem is mistakes. That's when it comes down. That's what it comes down. Bama makes more mistakes, in my opinion, than a traditional Bama team.
But you're giving him 4 weeks to get this team ready.
But here's my point. Am I wrong in saying these players are still young?
Yeah. They're not young. Who young?
No. The Alabama quarterback, what year?
He is like a red shirt senior. He could have went to the NFL this year.
Is he playing again next year?
He said he's coming. He's gonna come out now. He said he's coming back.
But he played behind Bryce Young.
Yeah.
They
may not be old. They may be young.
That's why I said they were going to win this year. But keep going.
Young in playing time. I agree with you.
He needs more playing time. I think without a doubt he's going to be a killer next year. But this year, these guys are coming after being behind some great players, some great situations, and it takes them a year to build up.
Don't see it.
All right, y'all. That's it. Shout out to the content.
Making another long more radio.
All right. Y'all give it up for the one and only country commentator. Good Lord. Hey, I'm going to need a 2-week build-up before I ever bring you back. Thank God for the holidays. Y'all give it up for the man, Howie Hitman. Give it up, Howie.
Thank you. Thanks for the invitation.
Appreciate y'all jumping on, man. God. Damn. Be careful what you ask for.
They won't. They won't.
People they won't. All right, y'all. We'll be back with Tonya B. Maybe if we got time. Maybe we'll be back with the tea. All right, y'all. Appreciate y'all, man. Thank you for coming on.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Thank you.
Thanks.
More. This is the G Podcast after the break.
Now then, children, it's time for tea.
It's tea time, y'all. Sipping the tea with Tonya B.
Yes, it's your girl. That means it's tea time. I am Tonya B coming to you live from the HBCU Super Bowl, as I call it. ATL is on fire this weekend with the Celebration Bowl. Even had Vice President Kamala Harris in the house representing her alma mater, HU, Howard University. Okay, let me just get right to this, Tommy B. Okay, wherever they say there's a saying, wherever there's life, there is death, and vice versa. Well, earlier this week, we lost legendary actor Andre Braugher to lung cancer at the young age of 61. And we also lost Nedra Beard of Dynasty. Now, you may remember that song, I Don't Want to Be a Freak, But I Can't Help Myself. That was her, along with her ex-husband, Leon Silvers of the Silvers, and she also lost a battle with cancer as well. But Sierra and Russell Wilson, baby number 3 together. They have 4 kids all together with little Future. They had a little baby girl. Now, Tommy B, I know you were up there stunting, but that little baby looks just like Russell Wilson. I don't care what you say. Anyway, let's see. I got a whole bunch of dumb donkeyisms coming up here, but let me just get to these headlines, Tommy B. I'm telling you, Cardi B and Offset. Was he really cheating with one of his baby mamas? They break up to make up, when they want a headline. We don't know if this is a stunt. They broke up more times than Dill got pickled. But I tell you this, people that do all this ranting and raving the way she cussed him all the way out on social media, this could follow their kids and be very traumatic. So I wish, grow up and keep some things you need to keep in the house. Keep that part of your business off social media. Okay, actor and author, TV producer, and singer Christian Keys has gone viral with sexual harassment claims. He wouldn't say the name, but if you heard that, it has gone viral. We can probably figure out who he's referring to. All he will say is that he has receipts, even the receipts for the car the person brought him to say they were sorry, and this person is a billionaire producer, director, and writer. That's all I'm saying. Tiffany Haddish has been ordered to submit to weekly drug and alcohol testing to keep out of jail. She's rough time. She had a gig as an opening act for Kevin Hart, and she has lost that gig. WNBA star Brittany Griner is telling her story. There'll be a documentary first quarter of 2024. Should be interesting. And will she tell everything about being held over in Russia? Told you I didn't think King Charles was going to last, Tommy B. And I think I may be right. Ain't nobody watching that show was already in trouble. I think it might make it till the end of the year, which is 2 weeks from now, maybe. Jonathan Majors in court crying. Megan Good in court crying. His fate has now gone into the hands of the jury. They are deliberating. I still say this woman saying she lied. She chased him down the street 5 blocks, and I know he wanted her to be more like Coretta and Michelle, and that is not possible for a lot of obvious reasons. This is the show I call the residency of the drunk uncles. Jodeci has a 2-week residency. I'm laughing. I'm sorry. 2-week residency in Vegas. I don't know when that became a residency, but we are ready for the Wu-Tang Clan. They are coming to Vegas in March of 2024. Angel Iris, the daughter of Spice Girl, Mel B, and Eddie Murphy, You may recall Eddie tried to say, I'm not your baby daddy. And then Maury Povich said, you are the father. Well, now she's had a very tumultuous life and has just taken a huge step coming out to her parents as a member of the trans community. I hope she's not traumatized any further. Beverly Hills Cop 4 could be traumatizing. Tommy B is coming to streaming it. I think maybe 1 week in the theaters, summer of 2024. The only thing I'm really looking forward to is cameos from the folks that were in Beverly Hills Cop 1, 2, and 3, and this should be the end of it. I'm just saying. Let's talk about Cassie. Now, she got this money from Puffy, and now she talking about she going on tour. I'm like, girl, why? You didn't even have a hit record. I don't know where she gonna go tour. I think she should stay home, launch a business in case the money ever gets a little low, and take care of her children. Girl, she going on tour. You know what, Tommy B? Let's you and I go on tour. Anyway, is there drama between Oprah Winfrey, producer of the Color Purple movie musical that comes out Christmas Day, and Whoopi Goldberg, the original Celie? Or is it just a stunt to promote the movie and get people to go, ooh, what's going on? Let me watch The View. Ooh, what's going on? Let me go to the movie. And in most movie theaters, if you go to the showings on Christmas Day, you can get up to a 25% discount off of your tickets. Now, are we ready for this? I know we just lost Norman Lear last week at the age of 101. Netflix has given the green light to an animated series called Good Times. Okay, you got comedian J.B. Smoove, probably James Evans. You've got former SNL cast member Jay Farrow, probably JJ. Yvette Nicole Brown, will she be Willona of Florida? Who will play Thelma? Who will play Michael? Will anybody play Janet Jackson? It's your girl, Tonya B. This is how we do it. This is the GT each and every week. Don't forget to like and subscribe. Go to the YouTube channel. You get something for your soul each and every day. And always remember, the Birdwire on Castropolis.net on demand. All right, Tommy B, it's on you.
Big thanks to Syracuse Mike, Tonya B, Vi, Talib, author and political analyst Harold Michael Harvey. Thanks to the crew, Millennial Nick. Happy birthday, Millennial. Lady J, Regia, music by K-Dub, all those who help us make it happen each and every week. And don't forget, y'all, Sunday, 6 p.m., you can stream us first. Our links are in social media in the bio, or you can just easily go over to Castropolis.net. Everything is there. Share us with friends. And it absolutely don't cost you nothing, y'all. Don't cost you nothing. And a reminder that next week, episode 205 is our final taping for 2023. We'll be back in 2024. And join us between now and the end of the year for our special countdown of the top 10 episodes of 2023. And finally, buy that long sleeve tee. Buy that long sleeve tee. Get it, y'all. And that will help us help you support the podcast and help me support it too. You know what I'm saying. Don't forget to subscribe and turn on notifications for the daily and the final week of the dailies coming up this week. All right. We'll be back after the first of the year. All right. While you travel, share us. And with that, episode 205 is in the can. Have a great week, y'all. Peace and power to the people.